between far-right and far-left-wing groups.
The Vancouver-based group called Patriot Prayer is holding a rally at Waterfront Park, and their opponents say they're planning to be there as well. Our Lisa Balick is live there now with an update. Lisa?
Well, it's the area by the fountains, the Salmon Street Springs area. That's where this is going to be happening. Both groups calling for hundreds of supporters to show up, and that likely will happen. This was a clash between the two groups last August at Waterfront Park, a war of words and fistfights. But this time, Patriot Prayer says it's bringing busloads of supporters with armed guards due at Waterfront Park late morning on Saturday. Leader Joey Gibson, a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate, talks about his group caring in an online video. He says it's his son with an airsoft gun in the background, and he says dozens of his supporters intend to try and mix in with opposition groups on Saturday.
So we're going to have tons of people within Antifa who are going to start with them, going to march with them back to us, and not only are they going to be causing havoc for Antifa, they're also going to be making sure they communicate everything to us that's going on.
Meanwhile, groups opposed to Patriot Prayer are organizing a counter rally to confront them. Rose City Antifa, PDX Resistance among the organizations that will gather at City Hall and other locations before heading to Waterfront Park Saturday morning.
This is the Portland Police Bureau.
There you go.
It has been quite a day. Violent clashes in downtown Portland. Police used force to try to keep protesters under control. Welcome to Coin 6 News at 5 o'clock. I'm Dean Tilkin. Our reporters Lisa Balick and Jennifer Dowling have been following these protests since they started this morning. We first go to our Lisa Balick at the waterfront.
Yeah, I'm
Lisa.
at Waterfront Park where this all started, and Patriot Prayer leader Joey Gibson calls his rally a success. Now, there was a big call on social media for that group to bring their guns, but we didn't see any guns and no gunshots were fired. Why don't you take a look at what was going here all day long. Now, hundreds of Patriot Prayer folks, supporters of Joey Gibson, who is running for U.S. Senate in Washington, arrived close to noon on buses and in cars at Salmon Street Springs. Now, there was quickly a war of words with counter-protesters, including Antifa, who had lined up across the street on the other side of NATO Parkway. But there were hundreds of police in riot gear, and they formed a physical barricade on each side to keep the street open and to keep the protesters apart.
Gotta keep them separated.
State police, other metro area law officers also joined in the show of force. Now, they had planned their tactics weeks ahead to keep the right and left-wing groups opposite and separated from each other. Now, as soon as the violence did break out, rocks and bottles thrown. In fact, there was even a newspaper reporter who was hit by flying debris. Police called the protest a civil disturbance on their loudspeakers. Patriot Prayer marched back here to Waterfront Park. Most of their members left about an hour ago. Now, we asked one of the Patriot Prayer leaders why the Vancouver group keeps coming here for their demonstrations.
Send a message to Portland that we're not standing down. We're standing freedom. They can send all their violent leftists to come out and attack us. We're still going to come out.
Why Portland? Why not stay in Vancouver?
What was that?
Why come down to Portland?
Because Portland is where it's happening at. And we're trying to keep it away from Vancouver. If we don't start fixing the problem here in Portland, it's going to grow and it's going to spread over to Vancouver. That's the reason why we're here.
They are still here, and police are still here. Still hundreds of police, although the numbers are far less. On the other side of the street is the Antifa group. Now, I asked Joey Gibson what's next. He tells me that his next will be up in Seattle. He'll have a rally up there in Seattle coming up on August 18th. Now, joining me here is my colleague Jennifer Dowling. She has been with the Antifa, the counter-protesters all day long. I'm going to hand the microphone over to Jennifer. Jennifer, fill us in.
All right, Lisa, yes, I was marching with the Antifa folks when they started at City Hall. They started with their rallies and speeches, and things were calm at that point. And then they started marching this morning down to try to meet Patriot Prayer here at the waterfront, because this is where they've been for most of the day. Now, police just drew a hard line in the sand here along NATO. They would not let Patriot Prayer and Antifa get together.
Gotta keep them separated.
And we did speak to someone from Antifa who explained exactly why they were out here today and why they felt they needed to show up to the Patriot Prayer rallies whenever they come to town here in Portland. Take a listen.
We should not only bash back against fascism, fascism, but we must out-organize the right. Say this with me. Out-organize the right. Out-organize the right. Out-organize the right.
And so there you heard some chanting and some of the other things that were happening. The people over on the Antifa side consider the Patriot Prayer side Nazis, but we often hear that from this side too. They consider the other side, they've called them Nazis as well. Of course, both groups not seeing eye to eye on this, and we're going to bring you a little bit more of what's been happening on the Antifa side tonight at 6 o'clock.
So, because of typically how people on the left are with cameras, I'm going to point the camera down before I ask if somebody wants to talk.
Hey, Sam, do you wear a beanie because you're afraid that, people are going to think you're weird because you're bald?
No, I just skate kind of culture.
Really hot outside. It just seems like wearing a beanie is not a good look.
Skateboarders? Like
this
if
is
you go
a
to...
dude that used to work for Vice, and now he hangs out with Nazis and considers himself a journalist.
What, who do I hang out with that's a Nazi?
Oh, there's fucking photos on the internet, guy. You know it.
Like of which? Like of what?
Well, I don't know. They're Nazi fucking
Then why are you telling people that hang out with Nazis if you don't even know who these
You
people are?
hang out with Nazis. There's
I
photos
don't.
of it on the internet.
I
You're
don't.
sitting in the back like, oh, I hope I'm not in this photo, but you fucking are, Tim.
You mean like when I interviewed people?
Oh, at a bar, sitting around hanging
Yes.
out with them?
Are you
No,
serious?
you're not a fucking real journalist.
So
Take your bald ass out of here,
you
Tim.
take issue with Vice going to...
I take issue with fucking you, because
you
you're a
take-
fucking fake piece of shit.
You take issue with Vice going to the hotel room with
take-
neo-Nazis?
Issue with you, because you're a fake piece of shit.
You have to explain it.
No, I don't.
And why would you say that? You don't
Fuck off. You're the one that came over here.
I know, you guys are protesting in public.
Fuck off.
You guys are protesting
Fuck
in
off,
public.
Tim.
Why?
All you do is go to rallies for money, you fucking sad
I
piece
don't.
of shit.
I haven't been to a rally in a long time.
Tim Pool?
Yeah.
Oh, what up? I'm a huge fan of yours.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Joe.
Look at this guy.
Like, you don't even know who I am, dude. What? You don't even know who I am. Then why do you hate me?
Get your fucking
Why do you- why-
fucking goggles the fuck out of here.
He's a cool dude.
Why do you hate me? I don't even know who I am. How can you hate someone you don't know?
He's a sad dude that thought he was a journalist, and now he just goes out with white supremacists.
Why do you hate someone you don't know?
He asks people questions.
No, he doesn't.
What? I don't hate you, dude. I came over to see what you guys were all about. You started yelling at me.
No, you don't. You know what you're here for, man.
What am I here for?
So, like, fucking pretend that you're a journalist, but you're
How
not.
do I pretend to be a journalist by coming in and ask you guys what you're doing?
You
don't even know me. Why would you say that?
Fuck off. So you're
I'm Steve.
This guy started yelling at me, bro. I came over to see what's up and he insulted me and told me to fuck me.
Why are you
Because
upset?
Proud Boys are
Dude.
fucking racist pieces of shit.
I have mad respect for what you guys are doing. I have mad respect for you coming out here and standing up to the people you disagree with. I have mad respect for you as a human being, and I believe you have every right to do what you do. And these people shouldn't say anything wrong to you. They shouldn't attack you. They shouldn't intimidate you. I don't understand why this guy's yelling. I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, but I mean,
Good for you.
I don't understand why you would yell at me if you never met me before.
Congratulations.
bad people, I guess.
Yeah, you're the bad people. Yeah. Yeah, your fucking Proud Boy friends come up and protect
Do you
the
know what
hate
Nazi
street
means?
teachers.
Do you even know what it means? You know it's an acronym? Is that how you spell it? No, that's not what it is.
It's a fucking shorthand for all the white
Solidarity movement.
supremacist pieces of shit that you guys support. Fuck off.
That's not
Fuck
true.
off.
It's just not true.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Fuck off.
All right. I mean,
Go back to your Pittsburgh group.
well, the best part about it is like you don't get to draw a line anywhere in the fucking 48 contiguous states. You know,
Oh, but
so-
Hawaii and Alaska are okay?
Well, I was just saying because
Oh, I get it.
where
Fuck
we're
off.
at,
Fuck off.
continental. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Okay. Well,
Why are you so mean, dude?
I'm just making sure he's all right.
He's fine. He's out here begging for his money online like every other asshole.
I don't know why you're so
make
mean
nothing.
then.
I
Why are you
took a
being
day
mean,
off
bro?
today.
Good for you.
You know,
I don't understand why you guys are okay with this guy being so mean. Like, I said nothing to you guys. I said nothing but respect for everything you're doing. And look what he's doing. Is that okay? You guys agree with that?
He didn't even talk to you, man.
But you don't know who I am.
He didn't even talk to you.
He doesn't have to talk to me. But I don't understand why you guys are okay with people being so divisive and hateful.
Why are you trying to talk to people who don't want to fucking talk to you, huh?
Because I want to talk to, I want to meet people I never
I
met
actually
before.
am
Right?
curious. You do have a sticker, so I mean, you obviously been to a whatever it looks
And
like.
I don't
a
have
meeting
to.
or whatever. What's the end outcome
Right?
of the anti-fascist movement?
These guys are
What's
still
your
talking.
end
He's still
goal?
talking.
Go online and read
You just
the
asked me a
shit. I'm not
question.
here to talk to you.
I mean, have you ever read Lenin?
I'll stop talking to you.
You know Mao Zedong? I mean, do you look at anything that the communist doctrine has
So
ever
you
done?
assume I'm a communist?
Well, I mean, you would think by the
The Nazis are over there. Why don't you go? Yeah, go hang out with your fucking fascist friends.
what about Stalinists or
Otherwise,
communist doctrine that doesn't have a plan.
you know, most anti-fascists are anarchists.
You know, most anti-fascists are.
How does anarchy work out?
Dude, go back to your mom's house. Fuck off.
No, the best part is, you know, I ain't got a mom's house, right? You know, center line, you know, me and you, right?
Hey, sorry, would you guys want to talk about why you're protesting? Do you mind if I film you?
Gotta keep them separated.
Obviously, police and riot gear moving, it appears to separate.
Gotta keep them separated.
Some sort of group of people from the Patriot Prayer supporters here on this side of the street that we are on. Again, just going to kind of follow as we continue to move west, now further west. And that is uphill. Again, no concept of where the counter-protesters are. We are currently at Southwest Market and Southwest 1st Avenue. I still hear more flashbangs down that way. They're coming from down that way. They're echoing all over the buildings. It's difficult to actually hear even where these flashbangs are going off because of all of the echoes. Again, still moving further to the west. We're now past Southwest Market and Southwest 1st. We've got USA chants happening here. Police running down further west to apparently get in front of this group of people. Again, police trying to keep us on the sidewalk as we go through here. Let's go ahead and toss it back to Wesley, possibly with an update from Lachey.
All right, Keaton, thank you so much. Keep being safe out there. So just to back up a little bit, within the last 10 minutes, things have really changed here. Patriot Prayer Group was on one side of NATO Parkway. The counter-protesters were on the other. And then Portland Police Bureau said that protesters started throwing projectiles, that includes rocks and bottles, at police. So they started deploying flashbangs, and you can see them all running somewhere right now. Things are just constantly changing right now. You can see that on Chopper 2. But they want to disperse the groups right now. They're saying they want everybody to disperse or face arrest. And you saw where Keaton was there. He's with Patriot Prayer. They were moving south along Waterfront Park, but then they crossed the street. That is exactly what Portland Police did not want to happen. Their goal was to keep them separated.
Gotta keep them separated.
The Patriot Prayer moved their march across the street. They are now moving west instead of south. We have no idea where they're going, what their goal is to where to end up, or when they're going to stop marching.
Violent clashes in downtown Portland. Police use force to try to keep protesters under control. Welcome to Coin 6 News at 6 o'clock. I'm Dan Tilkin. Our reporters Lisa Balick and Jennifer Dowling have been following these protests since they started this morning. We go first right now to Lisa, who's at the waterfront.
Yeah, this is where everything started and is ending up. Take a look behind me right over there. You're seeing both groups. You're having Antifa as well as Patriot Prayer here squaring off with a lot of officers here. Patriot Prayer leader Joey Gibson actually says his rally was a success despite all the social media calls to bring guns, which are not allowed here. I just checked with Portland Police a couple of minutes ago. They say they did not confiscate any guns down here, and they say no gunshots were fired. Now, hundreds of Patriot Prayer supporters of Joey Gibson, who's running for the U.S. Senate in Washington, arrived close to noon on buses and in cars here at Salmon Springs. There was quickly a war of words with counter-protesters, including Antifa groups, lined up across the street. They were on the other side of NATO Parkway. But again, hundreds of police and riot gear are here, and they formed a physical barricade on each side to keep the street open for most of the day. Now, state police and other metro area law officers also join in the show of force. They had been planning weeks ahead to keep the right and left-wing groups separated throughout it.
Keep them separated.
Actually visiting from out of town, and they're here supporting the counter protesters here after getting done with some hugs. Yeah, and you said you're from Denver, correct?
Denver, yeah.
And what's your name?
My name's John Huberts.
Okay, and what are you doing here? You're not here necessarily for this event, right?
Well, I'm here for this event, yeah. I'm just in town for a conference, and I heard this event was going on and thought I would come and show my support and solidarity for the dismantling of white supremacy, to call out fascism for the evil that it is.
And in Denver, have you been a part of any of the protests there?
Yes. Yes, I have, yeah. I'm a part of an organization called No Enemies in Denver, which is a bunch of song leaders that go to activist events.
And then what some people call mentally retarded.
Whether they're rallies or protests or marches, and we lead singing with the people that are there.
So you've been to some Portland, or this Portland event now. You've led some Denver ones, or at least gone to those. How does this event, the counter-protest here, compare to what you've been involved with?
Well, it's festive, which is wonderful. It's great to have the brass band here and to show that that love is and joy and equality are all possible if we are just able to kind of keep everyone's perspectives in mind. And I think that I'm enjoying that aspect of it here. I really appreciated the speakers at the rally and their perspective. They were very willing to get to the root cause of some of the evil that is in our world, maybe in a way that Denver is reticent to do. So, I don't know if I can compare much more than that.
And what is your name?
My name is Edie Dixon.
Edie Dixon?
Yes.
Are you from Portland?
I am from Portland.
Okay, what made you decide, hey, I'm coming out here today?
Well, I've started coming to the Patriot Prayer rallies from the very beginning. I was banned from performing in important gay clubs after coming out as pro-Trump. So after coming to my first Patriot Prayer meeting, Joey Gibson reached out to me and was like, I want you to know I did see you at the rally. We do welcome you. And I've been here. I've been at every single Patriot Prayer rally ever since. And as a transgender individual, I've never felt judgment or isolation by coming to these rallies because they're so big on individual liberties and individual freedoms that they would be hypocrites if they were to tell me that I'm not allowed. And Trans for Trump is such a big group that is an actual thing. Like every rally, I'm never the only trans for Trump at a rally, and never. And in fact, there's at least 2 here besides myself that I know for sure. So there's about 3 trans for Trump here. It's so diverse. There's so many gay people and multiracial people, and the only group I really don't see much is Muslims because we are against Islam. Because I do not believe it's a religion, I believe it's a political system. Because Sharia law goes against democracy, you can't have both.
You're goddamn right.
And I don't believe it's a religion, and I believe it should be banned for trying to interfere with our democracy.
Joey? Hey, Christine with KGW. Was wondering if I could talk to you as we walk, if you're trying to head somewhere. Okay. So in terms of today's rally, as it's turning out right now, what are your thoughts?
Good. Police
Okay.
are doing their job.
And in terms of moving north here along NATO, what's the idea behind that?
Coming inside? You mean?
Yeah.
The police asked us to.
I see. I see.
They said they won't disarm us.
So in terms of seeing all the counter protesters on the other side of the street, how does that strike you? Obviously hundreds of people.
It's good. It's good. It's First Amendment.
Yeah, and I know you're running for a Senate seat, right?
Yes, I am.
Is that part of today's decision to rally out here?
Yeah, we have a primary on Tuesday, so.
Okay, and I know, you might have gotten some flack. I know you did a Facebook Live about the guns thing. What is your response to people who say that, hey, bringing guns might incite violence? And
we always have guns.
Sorry?
We always have guns.
And what about
I didn't ask people to bring it. I just said we always have guns. So.
Like at other rallies and things, right?
Every single rally, we can still carry.
Okay, and
Can still carry. Everybody can. Tons of people can still carry.
okay, and in regards to the Proud Boys, a lot of people, the Southern Poverty Law Center categorizes that group as a hate group.
Yeah.
What would you say?
What's that?
Southern Oregon or Southern Poverty Law Center has categorized the Proud Boys as a hate group.
Southern Poverty Law Center is probably one of the worst sources you can ever go. That's why they're getting sued by many organizations. If you're pro-life, you're a hate group. If you're against gay marriage, you're a hate group. Ask Southern Poverty Law Center how many people on the left do they call out? How many people on the left do they call as hate groups? It's a biased group, and they raise money. They raised $150,000 off of me when I went down to San Francisco by slandering my name. They opened up a GoFundMe account, raised $150,000. It's all about money, and they're not going to last very long.
Are you trying to change anybody's views? I mean, those people over there, they have their views, you have yours, obviously, but coming out here... on the other side, counter-protesters?
Oh, well, there's tons of people with different beliefs and ideas. I think that eventually we got to come together, but we can't do it if Antifa's in the middle constantly causing violence. Get those guys out of the way, and then we'll be able to come together and just be able to learn and grow from one another. We don't have all the answers, but they don't either. So,
to people who don't know what you're all about and the beliefs that you have, Patriot Prayer, Proud Boys, in a simple way, what is it that you guys are trying to convey, your message? Because I feel like a lot of people on the counter-protester side would say, hey, these guys are racist, these guys don't, accept people for who they are.
I would say, why is it that we have way more color than they have? I'm darker than 90% of those people that call me racist. It's not about race, it's about what's on the inside. We're here to promote freedom and God, and that is it. And we actually have that American spirit where we're going to stand up for what we believe in, unapologetically, unafraid. Our country's getting soft. It's getting soft, and we need leaders to step up. That's it. It's that simple. Anything else?
I guess that was worth seeing.
What? That's all you have to say?